Mossadegh had idea of saying no more England. Oil is resource of Iran. So that's one. And maybe people in Iran supported the idea, but Mosaddegh is also the Communist Party. So Communist Party is against religion. So clergy, that's religious people, right?
Yeah.
So from the clergy, it had didn't want to support Mosaddegh because who's against religion, right?
Exactly.
So that's why they are against Mosaddegh and kicked Mosaddegh out.
That's right.
So that's why saying the clergy has a political power.
So actually, they supported the CIA, right?
Well, I guess so. It's really that's what he's saying is really interesting. It's really interesting. What he's
So
saying.
now we've seen two occasions where the Shia clergy's support helped facilitate change, right? In 1906 and again in 1953.
That's
so
right.
let's
This is
flash
my
ahead to
question.
1979.
So now it's 1979.
Shah was definitely an autocrat, and he employed a ruthless secret police called the Savak to stifle dissent. In 1975,
So Savak is a secret police in Iran. So to give you a brief explanation, the Shah, the father, was a military man. Father was a military man who fought and he made his own dynasty, right? Son is a smart guy who was able to speak 6 languages, and he liked being wealthy, and he wants to make Iran wealthy, and he applied Western values, he applied Western cultures to Iran, and trying to educate people in Iran.
Right.
But also, he didn't want anybody who wants to fight against him. So he had a secret police, and he had his own autocracy.
Right.
You know, he's saying, "I'm the power. Don't fight. Don't mess with me." And for that, he had a secret police.
the Shah abolished Iran's 2 political parties and replaced them with one party, the Resurgence Party. You'll never guess who was Resurgence.
Right. So Resurgence Party, and who's head of the political party? Shah himself. So it's his, dictatorship again, right? But he tried to, he trying to make Iran better. Because of the oil, Iran is becoming rich, more money, right? So with the money, he can improve economy of Iran, and he can improve education of Iran. But within Iran, people are not equally being wealthy, right? They start to become wealthy people, and they start to become poor people. And then poor people is not happy, right? Then poor people is like, Shah, you're not making us happy. That makes frustrations, right?
The Shah. There was a huge round of censorship and arrests
And then, so Shah was also with the secret police. He was, doing censorship, arrests, torture, political prisoners. So he said, you can do all you like, but don't fight with me. If you fight with me, then you become political prisoner. And torture, right?
torture of political
Prepared the new constitution. And within new constitution, how many had more power? So he became more powerful person.
Because he writes the constitution.
Well, I don't know if he wrote it, but he definitely had an influence. And so, after, Shah, Western culture, no more, no thank you. And let's bring the Islamic culture back. We are the Shias, and everybody says, okay, yes, religious leader, this is great. But then he's like, okay, as I'm a leader, I'm changing the rules, and I should make the decisions. And he...
of the executed. And under the new constitution, Khomeini...
See, under the new constitution, Khomeini was given extensive power. So...
How do people think about those things? Because the hands are of young peoples, right?
Probably.
The new generations who had the
yes.
Western education, and learned, maybe read the many books of Western in English or those things, love romance or those things. But how do those people think think about that such a religious?
But you see, it's Western education, but they were religiously Muslims.
Oh, younger people,
But
and
still-
they just influenced by Western culture.
Yeah.
And against how many? He killed them all. He killed them all. What?
So, no, well, she. No. Can you ask? Can you restate your question?
So how do the young people think about those religious matters?
Well, you see, because
They had a Western education, so they read the book of the Romans of the,
but love romance is one, but it's Western education doesn't mean Western religion.
yes, but
This is religious leader, not the.
yes.
No, he's talking about how Western influence young people, how they're going to react for Khomeini.
How they going
So
to?
maybe they can't understand the religious traditional rule of those things.
This is so people. Well, I don't know. Okay.
No. How does he handle for the younger people
Yeah.
who influenced by Western culture?
So your question is how does he handle who's against Khomeini?
Yeah,
Who's against Khomeini? He probably killed them.
Big amount of people.
kill
I
them
don't
all.
know. Well, political. I don't know. I don't know.
Kill them all.
I don't know. Political prisoners.
1979, kill them all.
The well, ultimately maybe kill. I don't know, but probably first it would be like they will arrest.
Openly protest people against Khomeini. He killed them all. Okay, many people he killed, but in this paper just on hundreds, but thousands, I think.
He was given extensive power. I mean, he could appoint the heads of the armed services and the Revolutionary Guard and the national TV and radio stations. He also approved the candidates for presidential elections and appointed 6 of the 12 members of the Guardian Council that approved legislation from the parliament.
So although he's a religious leader, he had a very strong political power.
This is the same as Hong Kong
Same as Hong Kong.
election structure.
Yeah.
Before it became law. So
Well, not exactly similar, but they say 6 of the 12 guardians, so it's not 12 of the 12, so it's not 100%. So not exactly
Very
the same.
similar, but not
Similar, yes. So in a way, he's above constitution, right? So to me, like China, political party, Xi Jinping is above the constitution, right?
Because he is the god.
Well, yeah. So clergy, he's like the prophecy, right? He's like the.
Iran already had a long history of clerical involvement in protest and dynamic change, but it also had a long history of pushing for constitutions and liberty. The current end result is the Islamic Republic of Iran, but it's worth remembering that both those threads of history are still part of Iranian life. Like we saw that in 2009 and 2010 with the so-called Green Revolution, where there were huge protests after an Iranian election. Those protests involved young people arguing for more rights and liberties, but they were also led by and encouraged by reformist Shia clerics. In the US, we mostly remember the 1979 Iranian Revolution for its burning of American flags and taking of hostages in the American embassy. That belonged more to the second phase of the revolution, the chaotic period when the Islamic Republic was being born. Life in the Islamic Republic of Iran remains highly repressive. I mean, for instance, Iran still executes a very high percentage of criminals. But it's inaccurate to say that Iran is merely a dictatorship or that it's merely
Right, so yeah, it's inaccurate to say Iran is dictatorship.
repressive. And one of the challenges for people in the West trying to understand Iran is that we have to disentangle the various aspects of the revolution.
Right? We have to disentangle the various aspects, right? Different angle-looking aspects of revolution.
Rather